Good morning, Kahal Kadosh, Shavua Tov Mevorach. Welcome back to the Monday morning 11 o'clock class on the Pirke Abot. Today, the 22nd day of the Omer, the 7th day of Iyar, the 19th day of April. Class of today has been graciously sponsored by our president, Mr. Eli Levy, and family Le'ilui Nishmat, his beloved father, Yom Tov Ben Altun Halevi, as well as by our dear friend and member, Mr. Jacob Dweka Cohen, Le'ilui Nishmat, his beloved uncle, Moshe Ben Victoria, Alav Shalom. Iratzon that through the words of Torah, both Neshamot have an aliyah in Gan Eden. Amen. We continue with our weekly learning of the Pirke Abot, which is definitely one of the most essential traditional learning synagogues worldwide during these holy and very specific weeks of the Sefirat HaOmer. So we continue with our Mishnah. Mishnah chapter 4, Mishnah Tet. Some books will be Mishnah Zain, but in the book that I'm using is Mishnah Tet. Rabbi Ishmael, the son of Rabbi Yosef ben Halafta, said, Ahosech atzmo min hadin, a person that withdraw himself from judging a dayan, etc. Porek mimenu, removes from himself eva, hatred, gezel, robbery, ushbuat shav, and the reason why someone will do an unnecessary oath or vow. Vehagas libo beora'a, but a person that is overly self-confident in rendering legal decisions, shote is a fool, rasha is a wicked person, begas ruach, and is arrogant. I don't believe that many of us use this kind of vocabulary to describe someone. But the fact that the Mishnah did it, it must be a justifiable reason. So let's dissect the Mishnah a bit better to have a great understanding of what Rabbi Ishmael is teaching us today. I'd like to give an introduction. People come to rabbis for different types of situations, different kinds of questions. Some topics could be a halachic question, a family purity question, a Shabbat question, a Eruv question, a Kashrut question. And based on the rabbi's knowledge, he will answer. And if not, he will ask and then render the information accordingly or do halachic research. But this is not what the Mishnah is referring to. The Mishnah is referring to the topics of Dine Mamonot, financial cases. Literally, financial disputes among people. I shared something earlier in the class of today, and I believe I said it in the class, but I'll say it again. The dispute between brothers is all about money, which is not good. It's actually about an inheritance and money. But definitely, it's not good. It's not healthy. It's not good for them. It's not good for their marriages. It's not good for the children. It's not good for the grandparents. and everyone connected to them, because it's more than just a financial dispute. It brings jealousy, it brings envy, it brings hakpada. That hakpada literally means a sensitive issue that someone holds a grudge against us, and that is detrimental for the spiritual well-being of the person. But let's talk about judges today. So let's go quickly to Rabino Obadiah of Bartenura. So it says, there are two ways of how a person withdraw themselves from a court case. And as a rabbi, and many of us do this, many times we are asked to sit down in a beit din to listen the claims, etc. So one question that I always ask is, who are the litigants? If the litigant is someone that I know well, or someone that is a member of our synagogue, or someone that we have a good relationship for years, my first answer will be, regretfully, I must excuse myself. In a way, I'm following the footsteps of the Mishnah, and I'm sure that many of my colleagues do the same, especially when it comes close to home. So first, Rabino Obadiah of Bartenura explains that if a person is aware that there is someone more qualified to handle this case, delegate. Delegating is not an embarrassment. Delegating, actually, according to today's Mishnah, seems to be a great formula, and we'll discuss in a moment why it's such a great formula to delegate when it comes to a certain type of court case. Or, second option, says Rabbeinu Obadiah of Bartenura, Omer leba'alei hadin sheitpasheru. We tell the litigants, do me a favor, let's settle this matter. Let's come up to an amicable decision that both of you will be comfortable with, and let's try to settle this. This way, nobody has to make a vow, nobody has to make a shebuah, nobody holds a grudge. A person is willing to give in a bit from both sides, and that's the whole idea, what I mentioned before, levater, to let it go. And then what are the benefits? Porek mimenu eba. You remove from you hatred. Why? Because how do you think that a litigant feels when he lost the case? He is not happy. And that's one of the reasons why you have 3 dayanim sitting down in most cases, and the majority rules to a certain extent, and no one is allowed to say who said yes, who said no. So it says, Sheyotze mi beit din hayav, a person that was given a guilty verdict from the beit din, soneh ladayan, he hates the judge. Sheomer velipo lo efech bizchuti. The person says that the judge didn't fight enough for him. That's the reason why he lost. Begezel, and also could be stealing money. Why? Shema yehayev zakai. Maybe the judge gave the wrong verdict, and now he's stealing indirectly by making the guilty innocent and the innocent guilty. Beshemuat shav, or an unnecessary oath or vow. Why? Because sometimes the beit din will tell the person, okay, you promise that you already paid him, and he's claiming that you never paid him. So there is one way that we can settle this now, without any financial obligation. Which one is it? Make a vow. Put your hand on the Sefer Torah and swear. Most people don't do it. Most people will be willing because the consequence of a false vow are critical, without going into details. But therefore, if you say, you know what, I don't want to get involved, I don't get involved, I only try to settle, which is, by the way, most of the situations that come our desk, we try to reach, with God's help, a certain level of settlement. And if the case is too close to home, or the case is too complicated, then it's delegated to the Beit Din. And the Beit Din also sometimes requests from the rabbis, perhaps you can handle it. You speak the language, they can communicate with you better, etc. But don't run after these cases. Try to avoid them if you can. Now, but the opposite, Hagas libo behora'ah, suddenly the person says, not a problem, you have an issue with this fellow, come to me, we'll work it out. Yani the person does not display an ounce of humility, which is required. And the opposite, belo be'ayun, he doesn't do the research, belo hamtana, without waiting, without doing the homework, without doing the due diligence. It's like somebody came the other day and he says, Rabbi, I would like for you to perform the ceremony. I need a bilingual ceremony. Since we have the groom is Spanish origin and the bride is English origin, so we want to do double ceremony. Meaning to say, sometimes speak in English, sometimes speak in Spanish, everybody's happy. I said, okay, thank you for the kind invitation. I don't run to do weddings. Baruch Hashem, the Kehillah keeps me enough busy, unless it's from obviously the community. But here, fill up the application. Let's see if I'm able to do your wedding. He says, why not, Rabbi? You told me the date is clear in your calendar. True, but I have to do due diligence. I have to know who you are. I know to make sure that there are no surprises in the background. I need to make sure that we have no issues with the edict, like it happened yesterday. Somebody came, gone home, man, 3 minutes into the conversation, without filling up any papers. We did a preliminary interview. And regretfully, there was an issue with the takana. So I couldn't keep the guy waiting till I review the documents. I said on the spot, I'm sorry, but I cannot do this wedding. And he understood, Baruch Hashem. Some don't. And you have to explain what is the takana, what is the special edict of the Syrian tradition, etc. And that's the reason why perhaps the Mishnah here uses such a harsh language to the person who wants to do it, but not having the knowledge, the tools, the training, experience, and above anything else, doing the due diligence. Now, this is, in summary, this particular Mishnah. Now, we're going to dissect this Mishnah even a bit better, because I think that is important. I'm just scanning quickly. It says as follows. The Tiferet Israel explains that the second part of the Mishnah is referring to a judge who believes that he is invincible, that whatever he decides is right. He's Superman, he's a hero, he's not a zero, but a hero, and he knows, and therefore he doesn't have to do due diligence. And it says the opposite. It says there is no greater foolishness like a person that believes that they are the smartest. And actually comes from Shlomo HaMelech. Ra'ita ish hacham be'inav. You saw a man, a person that believes that they are Superman, super intelligent. Tikvad lakesil mimenu. There is more hope from a foolish person than him. Why? Because his vanity on his knowledge can dig his own grave, God forbid. Rasha. Why is it considered a wicked person? Because this person does not show Yirat Shamayim. Gasruach, he wants to show the world how is he capable of solving complicated matters, which is a very strong language, as I said before, that the Mishnah of today is using to us. But I think that the Mishnah is trying to wake us up and to give us understanding that to be a rabbi, so to speak, which we started to discuss this topic last class, or to be a judge even, is not simple. It's not automatic. It requires, besides the learning and the training and the experience, it requires humility from the rabbi, and it requires siyata dishmaya. It requires heavenly assistance, which this is something that we personally pray daily, that God helps us to say the right things, that God helps us to make the right decisions, that God helps us to guide people accordingly in a proper way. As we discussed many times, certain hachamim, certain tzaddikim, 3 different people ask the same question and they get 3 different answers. And then you ask the rabbi, how come it's not the same answer for all? Says no. For someone in his situation, in his level, this is the answer. On that person, on his level, on his particular situation, this is the answer. And the other one, that everything is fine, that is the answer for him. Very beautiful and powerful Mishnah. Let's welcome quickly the one and only Me'am Lo'ez, that always brings fascinating insights in the fields of Mishnayot. So we know all the benefits that comes. So comes the Pirke Abot, and it says that judges should aim to make a settlement. And they bring the famous statement from the Yerushalmi, from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that says, Berich Rahamana she'eni dayan. I bless the Almighty that did not put me to be a judge, because he believed that they were greater minds and knowledgeable Talmidei Chachamim than him. Very nice. Now, we find another case. We learned this last week's Torah portion. Tazriya Tahor. What was the main menu of the day last Shabbat? Sarat. The godly wake-up call, instead of saying punishment, but the godly message of leprosy. So what the Pasuk says, that even if the person afflicted by it is a Talmid Chacham, meaning to say is a wise man, is knowledgeable, how does he need to say, Kenega nir'ali babayit? I believe. He shouldn't say nega nir'ali babayit. I have a stain in my wall. That's the initial step for the leprosy. Remember? First the walls, then the furniture, then the garments, and then the body. 4 options the person was given. So if a person is going to say, Kenega, I believe, Yani, can you check it out? Be'al yomar ela lefi da'ati. It says, could be others who will disagree. But I believe in this opinion from the halakha. Now, the next explanation, it's unbelievable. So far, we explained that this Mishnah is talking about the judge, the rabbis. Now, the Me'am Lo'ez brings it from a different angle. And it says as follows. And it says that this Mishnah also is telling the litigant that don't run away from judgment. What does it mean? That if you have a doubt, if you owe money or somebody owes you money, you don't need to wait till the other person initiates a case. Let's talk about the case that you owe money to someone, or the fellow claims that you owe him money. You will say, perhaps, you know what, if he believes that I owe him money, call me to Bet Din. That seems to be a very nice type of feeling. But according to today's Me'am Lo'ez, he says no. He says, you start doing the homework. Go to the Bet Din, go to the rabbinate, go to a dayan, and ask him, do you think that in a situation like this, I owe the person money or not? Shebazeh, because when you took the initiative before that person starting, and you step up to the plate, and you call them and he says, Moshe, I need to give you money based on my research. Guess what? You increase unity. You increase harmony. One of the biggest complaints that people have about business or financial loans is that when a person cannot pay, they are suddenly MIA. That means missing in action. You don't hear from them, you don't see me, you don't see them, etc. But taking the initiative of finding out the responsibility, it seems from this magnificent explanation of the Me'am Lo'ez, that it seems to be a higher level and decree Beirat Shamayim. One more, he says, Talmidim הקטנים שלא למדו תורה כראוי. Young kids who don't have thick skin, don't have gray hair, they didn't learn enough Torah, they didn't fill the stomach with Torah knowledge and experience, and they want to play in the major leagues. That's basically what he's saying. It says they want to, and it did happen not long ago, in a community in Europe, that a young rabbinical student started to challenge the great head rabbi of that town, and obviously it was an embarrassment for him and for the community. And they use in a certain way the same language that this Me'am Lo'ez uses, that they want to just make noise, and they say things and then bring destruction instead of bringing respect and awareness of the Torah. Not only that, Marbim Mahloket, they increase more arguments, Uma Harivim, and they bring destruction. And that's what King Solomon said, Ehezulanu shu'alim shu'alim ketanim, mehabelim keramim. We were plagued by tiny foxes, baby foxes, that they travel around the vineyards and they bring chaos and destruction. Now, be aware, it says the Me'am Lo'ez, sometimes, and perhaps I may have said this, but sometimes there is a question that comes up. It's a question. And now he says, very simple. And on that moment, the rabbi didn't know the answer, which is okay. It's fine for the rabbinate to say, great question, I need to do research. Because every question is different, although on the surface they seem to be the same. And it says, and the person goes and does the research. Or a person says, you know what, let me take a quick look quickly, stay here. Because sometimes the rabbis don't say, okay, I'll see you later. Rabbis get busy unexpectedly. This is besides the daily responsibilities that we have to achieve. Unexpected pop-ups that happens. And then suddenly, you're having breakfast at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it says, the rabbi says, wait, let me do the research on the spot. Stay here. Beina Hashem leyado. And God came to his encounter. Limso hadin. To find the answer to the question. Besalha alav ruach Hashem. The Spirit of God came now. It's a siman tov. How many times it happens we are learning together and then suddenly we open the page. I said, I need a siddur. And then suddenly you open the page exactly in the page that you were looking for. What, you put your finger, you calculated how many pages the book has. If it's a Shabbat prayer book or if it's a weekday prayer book, obviously not. But it says that is a good sign from Shamayim. The Borei Olam is helping, is blessing. It says a great simcha. A great simcha. Additionally, he says that a person should always surround themselves when it comes to dayanim. But one requirement, it's mandatory. That when rabbis are going to sit down to settle or to work on a rabbinical case, whatever that means. Today, the get cases became regretfully very popular due to the unfortunate topic of agunot. But let's say that the meeting is about a financial dispute. It says dayanim must make a prayer that the Kadosh Baruch Hu Hashem should come to the rescue by guiding them and giving the proper ruling, a ruling that will remove hatred, animosity, stealing, etc., to bring great blessings to the life of the person. It says, to finish today's class, how do you know, or how do we know, if the rabbi is acting in this field in the proper way? How do you know? So the topic of today's class is not called Test the Rabbi. But here the Me'am Lo'ez gives a formula. And I will clarify. And it says, when a question comes their way, or a doubt, okay? And the question is not, what time is Mincha, Rabbi, tonight? Which supervision is reliable? Is the Eruv up for this weekend? Do you have a Shabbat elevator in some of your buildings? Those are yes and no easy answers. But when it comes to difficult answers, Ahacham shokel beda'ato, says the rabbi needs to make an assessment. Umistakel lasdadim, and check both sides of the question. And after you come with clarity to this answer, then you give the answer. And this happens often when it comes to Taharat HaMishpaha questions. Many times there are questions of stains that a female body releases during the 7 clean days that the wife is preparing herself to go to the mikveh. Some ladies or some men are very mahmir, and automatically they see a stain and they say, not kosher, go back to the beginning of the 7 days. Some of them, no, it's not a big deal. Obviously, average husband and wife are not trained to decipher if it's permissible or forbidden. On what type of fabric is it found? What color stain is it? What size stain? How close to birth or nursing or different IUDs, protocols that sometimes do have and interaction with the marital life. So therefore, many times you get a question and you have to say, come back tonight, or it's too late at night for me to give you the answer. I need natural light to see it. Or then the rabbi will ask, are you on birth control pills? Are you nursing? You have a wound, you have a situation. You can't just say automatically taref or automatically kosher. If you say automatically kosher and it's not, God forbid, you may cause that husband and wife are together when she's nida. And if you say taref or not kosher when really was, you're delaying procreation. You're delaying ovulation period, perhaps. So that's the reason why the Mishnah says to the rabbinate again. I know last class was about the rabbis, and the Mishnah today goes also for the rabbis to make sure that they carry a huge responsibility, not only in the planet Earth, but with heavenly matters as well. And that's why rabbis and many people, they pray, Yehi ratzon shelo tetzeh takala mitachat yadenu. May it be the will of the Almighty that we don't fail, that we don't make mistakes when it comes to ruling, like the famous prayer of Rabbi Nehunya ben Akana, that will always pray to the Almighty to make sure that the learning is done in a proper fashion. That's what I meant to say. I should not say what's forbidden is permissible. I should not say what's permissible is forbidden. I should not say guilty instead of innocent, or innocent instead of guilty, pure or impure, good or not good. So the person needs to have, especially in the rabbinate and in the judging department, the siyata d'ishmaya to do the proper thing. We wish everybody to have a Shavua Tov Mevorach. We express our gratitude again to the Levy family for graciously sponsoring today's class, Le'ilui Nishmat, his beloved father, Yom Tov ben Altuna Levi, and as well to our dear friend, Mr. Jacob Dweck and family, for graciously sponsoring today's class, Le'ilui Nishmat, his beloved uncle, Moshe ben Victoria, Alehem Shalom. Have a great day, everybody. Shavua Tov Umevorach.